you're in for a treat. And why is that? I'm gonna give you so many charts that you either gonna be sick or excited. Nothing in between. So I will overload you with the charts of total market cap, Ethereum, Bitcoin, altcoins, and even all those clashed together. So let's find out what the charts are saying and why the dinosaur is hiding behind the wall. He's shy, that's why. Now, if you want to become a part of his community, his crypto pack, subscribe to the channel. Just hit that red subscribe button and join us. We are growing in numbers every day. If that's not enough for you, and you think that this channel is super duper awesome, you can tip the dinosaur, send some crypto and feed him. For how and where, check out the description of this video. And now let's go to the top coins and movers and shakers in the market today. As you can see, a consolidation is in action. Nothing much is happening. We are in the region from 0 to 3% upside or to the downside in top 10 coins. But it is just one indication of consolidation after fears and a huge move that mainly Bitcoin had in the past few days. As Bitcoin is resting, some altcoins are having a good time, like gold, for example, with 27%. But nothing will give us a clearer picture of the current developments in the space than the total market cap itself. So let's head to the weekly chart of those. Every candle of this chart represents 1 week, and we will take a look at each chart on a weekly scale, because this is the biggest scale that could give us a fair perspective. Now monthly a little too big, weekly just perfect. For this case and scenario casting, let's use just support and resistance. So we will be using horizontal support, angled support, and a dynamic support that are moving averages. Nothing more. The simpler the better. So on total market cap, we are around 443 billion. Why we stopped right here? Let me show you. This is all the answer you need. A big horizontal resistance is ahead of us. You can see where we got rejected in the year 2018, and the same thing is happening right now. So we will breach this level, but it won't be an easy cake. You can see what happened the last time we faced it. A fierce run, then an extreme move to the downside. It is a pretty fairly, let's say, strong resistance. So what do I expect? Well, I don't expect it to be broken like butter. You know, some more fight is fairly needed for the break of the line. It is important. We'll see. For now we have some space for the upside, but let's be real, this is not so easy to break. What's supporting us? For one thing, we have this line at 328 billions of all the cryptos, and you can see that we faced huge resistance, but as we broke through this line, a big support. I like this. This line was tested after the fierce break. I suspect we take that this is a channel of sort. A retracement to these levels, 385 billions. So if we erase all this and just put a simple channel like this, you can see that this median is also making big resistance, and now that we broke it, I really expect nothing more than a support. And that's it, that's the whole story. So the levels around 385, 390, let's call it 400 at the best case, for me, are expected. And yes, we will lose those 43 billions. After that, I don't know, we are good to go. If we plot this 20-week moving average, you can clearly see that we are in a bull trend and above this line. We broke it right here, but never tested it. And you know that at some point the price action and this moving average need to intercept each other. Will that be around this level that we just talked about? Well, probably. Okay, so at some point, touch of this moving average and then continuing our journey to the upside. I think we spent too much time on this chart. We need to move on, people. Come on. Next, our chart number 2, Ethereum versus USD. There you go. Ethereum from the peak of our previous bull market till this day, standing just above $448. What's resisting us? What's supporting us? A support that was once a resistance at levels of $320. A resistance, how about this angle line resisting us here, 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 and even next week? Okay, so keep a watch and a close eye on this resistance. It's not a horizontal, but this is the case that I'm seeing right now, where our moving average is telling us bullish scenario, just like the total market cap. We break 20-week moving average and is having a price action above it. That's a good thing. And hovering, flirting kinda at this latest price developments above the 20-week moving average. What I would like to see is we move all the way and final touch, then a move to the upside. Well, that could be some kind of move, but nothing is pointing to bearish scenario. For now, we are bullish, and a probable consolidation very near this 20-week moving average is a possibility. How is Ethereum doing versus Bitcoin? Let's look at that chart. Ethereum versus Bitcoin. A fairly interesting chart if you ask me. First of all, it's pretty clear that we are moving in an upward sloping channel. We had support here, here, and we are having support right now. So just by looking at that channel, Ethereum versus Bitcoin could be going up. So expect an overperformance of Ethereum versus Bitcoin if we follow this chart. Now on the grand scale of things, what's holding Ethereum besides this channel? How about this? Pretty big resistance if you ask me. Look at this. Resisting, 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 resisting. This resisting is dated all the way to the, middle of 2018. So more than 2 years. Ladies and gentlemen, be sure that when we broke this resistance versus Bitcoin, Ethereum will skyrocket. There we go. This is the only thing that I see regarding Ethereum versus Bitcoin. The most important line, if you are an Ethereum investor, keep a close eye on it. Your coin could burst into air after this line is crushed. And if we draw this support and this resistance, well, we could be facing ascending triangle, pretty bullish triangle. Do you see it? Something like this. And it is showing us the upside potential. What are moving average telling us? Well, some problems. We are below the 20-week. So this moving average could pointing us to some resistance in the near future. I could use some more in-depth analysis of this chart, but we are having so much to cover. So without further ado, we looked at Ethereum versus Bitcoin, but what is happening with the Bitcoin itself versus US dollar? Let's check out our beautiful Bitcoin. Now this is the support that we broke a few weeks ago, and well, it could be our support if Bitcoin decide to go in a downward trajectory. You can see it was heavy resistance all these years. So it's not so crazy to expect that if Bitcoin is done with its upside potential, a retest of this support. For me, it's a fairly normal thing. Yes, we have some support at 14,000 and we can do that, but this is a far greater support at 12,000. So if we start to go down, first watch at 14,000. If the 14,000 break, 12,000 is the last line of defense. And I really don't expect Bitcoin to fall 12,000. Never again. Yes, you heard it right here. Never again below $12,000. So, who bought in here? Well, you had a time. This was the buy zone with a fairly cheap Bitcoin. Because after we reach 100,000, you will ask yourself, why I didn't buy Bitcoin at, for example, 10? But that's a story for another time. Now, as we draw on this support lines, who's saying that Bitcoin is done with its upward moves? I'm not saying that, because nothing is showing me. This is the only resistance at $1,600 and $660. That's showing me on the screen. So yes, Bitcoin could go up from this point on another $1,000, let's say. It will be perfectly normal. We are overstretched, but for now, nothing is pointing to us that we're done. So this is the space where I think Bitcoin will be. You can see here that this is the bounce we had from the 14,000 and a resistance from that level of 1,600, 600 and something. God, my tongue is dancing when I'm saying those numbers. And at some point, Bitcoin will need a rest. Is this now or in a few weeks? We'll find out. A moving average 20 week is giving us all the bullish signs you need. A break to the upside and even a nice touch of the 20 week retest and then an upside move. This is beautiful. Bitcoin at its finest. We watched a lot, and now let's watch altcoins versus US dollar. What's happening in there? Here we are, standing at 158 billion of altcoins versus dollar. Just like with the Ethereum, this is the angled resistance that I'm seeing on the altcoins. Resist again, resist, and resist last week. Now when we break this resistance, again, moonshots. Support is fairly easy on this chart. So fall below 130 billion for me now is not in the cards. This line was a strong support once. After the break, look at this, an extreme resistance. So when we break it, that's what we're hearing right now. A strong support again. In my opinion, altcoins are living for a few months on this support and are just waiting to be ignited to the upside. Don't be surprised when you see a huge move to the upside. And thus, we will have some resistance like this one on the way at around 300 billion. But let's talk about the resistance when we get there. Moving average, excellent. Break, and this could qualify as a retest of the 20-week moving average. So all bullish options are in the cards. Your altcoin season could finally come, and it really pisses me off when the other YouTube channels are talking about altcoin season in this year. We haven't got any altcoin season. This is not an altcoin season. This is an altcoin season. So until you see candles of this size, we don't have altcoin season. One more chart, and I promise you, if you're sick, I'll turn off the video. Altcoins versus Bitcoin as our final but not the least important chart. Who's guiding at the moment, Bitcoin or altcoins? This is an altcoin market cap, an altcoin dominance chart. Well, for one thing, altcoins are fighting this resistance for over a year now. We were met 3 times with this resistance, and this is the last time, and after every time we met with this trend line, we fall down fiercely. And the Bitcoin takes over. Another trend line from the peak of the bull market. Look at this. Another resistance. Here, here, and here again. Now, altcoins don't have an easy life against Bitcoin, believe me. And as you can see, resistance after resistance. And now, we are moving in some kind of megaphone structure. Either break to the upside or to the downside. We will see. What the moving averages are telling us? Well, 20-week moving average is giving us an absolute bearishness. This 40% altcoin dominance will give us fair resistance. So if we did our time on this pullback, when we come back, we could be facing some problems. But, and this is the last thing that I'm gonna say to you, let's remove this. When will be the deciding point of a shift between altcoins and Bitcoin? Ladies and gentlemen, I present you the 200-week moving average on the Altcoin Dominance chart. Or should be clear now. You see how strong resistance it is. And after we broke below, that was the middle of 2019. We just are staying and living below this 200-week moving average. My final verdict is after this 200-week moving average is broken, currently standing at 43% of altcoin dominance. Altcoin season will finally be here. So keep a close eye on this moving average. If you like all these ideas on all this chart, put a thumb up. If you didn't like these videos, check out one of these. Maybe I will finally satisfy you. And for now, roar.